Taiwan, I'm Reece with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Coral coverage has sharply declined around southern Taiwan's Xiaoliuqiu Island, a government report has found. The report blames local tourism and county agencies for the decline. Experts point to excessive development and activities like snorkeling. Xiaoliuqiu introduced fees and other restrictions on tourists earlier this year in the hope of protecting local ecosystems against over-tourism. Coral reefs are declining around the world as ocean temperatures and pollution increase. Asia's youngest nation, East Timor, has come a long way since gaining independence in 2002. But now the country finds itself in a complex geopolitical situation as it tries to tap its fossil fuel resources. Adil Bra reports.
This is Dili, the capital of East Timor, also known as Timor-Leste, a small nation of 1.3 million people in Southeast Asia. East Timor has come a long way since it gained independence in 2002 from a violent two-decade-long occupation by Indonesia. But the geopolitical face-off between China and the West is posing new challenges for Asia's youngest nation. China has stood by East Timor, supporting the resistance movement that fought against Indonesian occupation. In the recent years, Beijing has helped build the presidential palace in Dili and other official buildings. The Timorese government has faced criticism over how the contracts were awarded. But the president, Jose Ramos Horta, rejects suggestions of undue influence.
So it's not like China helping us, no. We're helping them in the extent that we give them contracts, but contracts that they bid under international rules.
East Timor's economy relies heavily on its fossil fuel reserves. But despite this wealth, as much as 40% of the country's population lives in poverty. And the nation may even run out of funds to extract its oil in the next 10 to 15 years. East Timor wants to develop natural gas reserves in an offshore project called the Greater Sunrise Gas Field. But for this, it needs foreign investment. The project has been stalled over a disagreement with Australia, which shares the right to develop the field. But East Timor's president believes a breakthrough is in the offing.
Soon we will sign an agreement with Australia on the development of Greater Sunrise. What the nature of the agreement, I don't know, but a decision will be made to develop this big gas field.
Beijing has also expressed willingness to fund the Greater Sunrise project, but experts have cautioned Dili about accepting Chinese financial support. They fear East Timor could become another developing country to become saddled with unsustainable levels of debt as a result of China's investment in infrastructure, what Beijing's critics have called debt trap diplomacy. Last September, East Timor signed a strategic partnership agreement with China, a move that has raised alarms in Western capitals. President Ramos Horta has confirmed holding talks with Chinese state-owned and private companies to invest in the gas project. Meanwhile, Australia has indicated it would give East Timor a big chunk of the revenue from the project to keep Dili away from Beijing. Now, all eyes are on the agreement Dili is negotiating with Canberra. As East Timor pins its economic future on the Greater Sunrise gas field, Asia's youngest nation looks to see how it can extract the best deal for itself without getting pinched in the great power rivalry between China and the West. James Lin and Adil Brar for TaiwanPlus.
Houston is one of the most ethnically diverse cities in the United States, with a thriving Asian population that exceeds 500,000 people. Part of the city's landscape is its bustling Chinatown area. Leslie Liao went to Houston and met with Kenneth Lee, a Taiwan-born realtor who played a pivotal role in Chinatown's rise.
When I first got here, the one we show you just go before called the Deal Market, and all from here is all just land, a vacant land.
They call him Mr. Chinatown, or the mayor of Chinatown. Real estate agent Kenneth Lee is a leading figure in Houston's growing Asian American community. He's largely credited with building up the local Chinese-speaking neighborhood southwest of the city. Kenneth was born in Taiwan. He moved to Hong Kong at 14 and then went to the United States for college, moving to Houston in 1981 at the behest of his uncle.
He just said, Kenneth, if you go to the United States, you should go to Houston because I'm going to open the supermarket. You're going to help me.
That supermarket turned out to be a pivotal first step in creating Houston's contemporary Chinatown because it offered immigrants from Taiwan and Asia a taste of home. People came from far and wide specifically to buy the specialty goods that his uncle's grocery store offered. With more people came more business, and Asian enterprises sought to gain a bigger foothold in the city. As more businesses poured into the area, the demand for financial services grew.
And this was a time where the entrepreneurs reached a critical mass, and they were not properly served or not effectively served by the mainstream banks.
Jody Lee is chairwoman of Southwestern National Bank, one of the Asian-oriented financial institutions that arose from Houston's Chinatown rise. Her father, C.K. Lee, is one of the bank's founders, which was created specifically to serve the needs of immigrant businesses in the area. Jody's family moved to Texas from Taiwan. Her family was one of those who made regular journeys to Houston to visit Kenneth's family grocery.
And we lived in the Dallas-Fort Worth area for 2 years. And during that time, we would come to Houston on a monthly basis to buy Chinese groceries. And each trip would be like 3.5 to 4 hours one way.
While Chinatown boomed, Houston as a whole struggled. An oil crisis hit Texas in the 1980s, and people started leaving the energy industry-reliant city, causing property values to plummet. But where some people saw catastrophe, others saw opportunity. Outside capital poured in from places like Taiwan, Hong Kong, and California to scoop up cheap local property. But Kenneth soon realized those buyers needed help.
But in that time, Houston still is a very conservative place. So in the upscale property and the commercial properties, even you have money, you cannot buy.
Kenneth became a realtor to help drive those sales. As he sold more property, he saw a need to build relationships with local officials so that they could become familiar with the community. Kenneth worked with local authorities and city officials, showing that Chinatown could bring much economic good to Houston.
We have to work with the mayor, with the city council, to let them know we are here, and then we are part of the culture, and then let's work together.
He asked police to set up an office in his area, paying for the rent and utilities out of his own pocket, as he believed safety was a big priority for Chinatown's prosperity. Kenneth also regularly meets with local politicians to advocate for Chinatown's needs, as well as find out if there's anything Chinatown can do for Houston. Houston is the place where Kenneth has seen generations of immigrants set up shop and thrive. He firmly believes that the city is a haven, not just for immigrants, but for anyone looking to build success. He is a fierce Houston promoter, and his love for the city he calls home goes well beyond the Chinatown community he helped build. Devin Tai, Jeremy Olivier, and Leslie Liao in Houston for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, today we take you to a new exhibition at the Whitney Museum of American Art in New York, highlighting the legacy of dancer Alvin Ailey. I'm Reece. Take care and see you next time.